You.
Welcome to your final edition of the Gentleman Fantasy Podcast. And when I say final, I mean that sounded wrong. It's not going to be the final Gentleman Fantasy Podcast. It's going to It's the finals edition of the Gentleman Fantasy Podcast. It is finals week. It is fantasy football Super Bowl week. Rob, I'd love to say we're excited about it, but we're both out and we don't care.
Yeah. I figured we'd talk about other shit.
Yeah, and we couldn't get anyone who's in either of the finals to show up for this. Deprez conveniently ignores every time I bring up the fact that we have a podcast. Crawley works, in a cheese factory on a schedule that is impossible to schedule, but I guess he'll be with us next week. Andrew's hanging drywall, and that is literally everyone in the two leagues.
As he frequently is.
So... it's just me and Rob tonight. This is going to be an abridged version. We had some insanely ridiculous technical difficulties beforehand that really threw a wrench in our game. But we're going to persevere, or whatever severe.
It's going to be severe. We're going to sever our difficulties and just push through this.
Absolutely. I'd love to say we have breaking news, but I found out that the breaking news drop is wrong on this tablet that we have. This is what the breaking news drop is.
You need more lies, baby. Yeah.
So that's not the breaking news drop. Another reason why we have technical difficulties. We were a professional podcast at one time, Rob.
Yeah, we knew what we were doing for like half a season there, and then we got greedy and we just let it go off the rails. And it's just where we are.
So because of all this technical difficulties, Rob and I really didn't have a chance to go over our rundown for this. We're recording it at like 3 a.m, I think it is at this point. And so we're just going to wing it. And we're going to talk a little bit about the matchups going on here. And there's some other stuff we're going to do later on. We got some Parrot Corner. We're drinking Oliphant Brewing Stout. And I don't know if you can see the can, Rob, but I like the can a lot. I know this is a visual podcast for everyone, but it is like a basement, like music practice
like a basement
space.
garage band.
Yeah,
setup.
garage band practice space with a bunch of beer cans on the can. It is pretty cool. If you go to one of the liquor stores, you can get some of this Oliphant Stout. It's great.
It's like when we used to practice down in Crawl's sex dungeon.
Yes. The crawl space is what he called it.
Oh, nice. That rolls off the tongue much better.
Right. Anyways, championship matchups this week in the League of Ordinary Gentlemen. We have returning champ Luke Deprez going up against Crawley. Crawl's coming back for his potentially a third title. Luke's looking for 2 in a row. Crawley's team, I gotta say, this is Crawl's to lose. Luke's been ahead of everyone all season, but Luke doesn't have a quarterback.
I mean, not one that you would want to have that does have the potential to have negative points, even against the Giants.
Yeah. Jalen Hurts is out with... He's got a concussion, correct?
That is correct.
Yeah, so Jalen Hurts is out, and he's got to rely right now on Anthony Richardson, and Anthony Richardson can't complete 50% of his passes?
Yeah, Kyle, do you remember having Anthony Richardson and the ordeals that he can bring on a fantasy owner?
That's right. I had a shot or two of Malort with Anthony Richardson earlier in the season. It left a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I'll say.
But let's take a look just for fun. If he didn't want to play Richardson this week, he missed out on CJ Stroud, who happened to be on waivers. Which actually, I guess he didn't miss out. Anthony Richardson scored 0.1 points. His other favorite quarterback, Dak Prescott, is out there yet, but he's on IR. He's got a possibility to pick up Mason Rudolph or Drake May or Mac Jones, Aiden O'Connell, Bryce Young. You know what? This is literally the list of guys that I bet to throw interceptions 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the options are pretty grim. I'd almost go with Drake May.
He's probably the most reasonable one right now, right? When you look
if I had to pick the least likely to score negative points guy on that list, would be Drake May.
Yeah, Bryce Young scored 28 points last week. They're playing Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay couldn't stop the Cowboys last week, so
okay.
I mean, if you want to go all out, it's an opportunity there.
So, that being said, what does the waiver budget look like right now? Could Krull potentially grab a couple guys and block this transaction?
So here's the thing. I believe he can, and I don't believe Deprez has any money. Let's look at a budget summary. Deprez is out of money, and Krull has $19.
Nice. So, pretty easy for him if he wants to maybe cherry pick a couple that...
I guess the question for Krull is, who does he think the best two quarterbacks on the board are?
Right.
And are they the same ones that Deprez would go after?
One of them has to be Bryce Young, for sure.
I would think so. Drake May and Bryce Young are probably the two top.
I'd rather at least grab Bryce Young and saddle him with Drake May versus letting him just have his pick of the litter.
And I will say, having those games the games on Wednesday actually favored Luke in this one, because the logical pickup would have been CJ Stroud, and Stroud would have killed him. So
yeah,
he got lucky not being able to pick someone up.
Interesting. Merry Christmas, Luke.
Yeah. I'm mainly cheering against Luke just because he gives us zero content. Aside from the crazy text messages, you know.
I'm cheering against Luke because I want to get his trophy out of my fucking garage.
But let's do some quick NFL news. I got a couple of facts here for you, and of course, all of my facts just come off of the NFL memes on Facebook. So take this for what you will. Here's a
professional podcast.
Here's
might as well be.
Here's my New York Jets fact of the week. All right, the New York Jets did not punt on Sunday. They also only scored 9 points and lost. The first team in 25 years to accomplish this feat.
I mean, they're record setters, man. That's just proof that they're the greatest.
How could you not punt and only score 9 points?
Where there's an Aaron Rodgers, there's a way.
So Michael Penix made his debut on Sunday and looked great for the Falcons. I mean, the Falcons are in the playoff hunt right now. The Falcons are actually in the playoffs right now. They switched to a rookie quarterback who didn't play all season. Kirk Cousins, they gave a boatload of money to. Looks like he's on his way out. But, again, did you know that Michael Penix is the second Atlanta Falcons quarterback who was black, that was left-handed, with the first name Michael, and a name that was one letter off from the male genitalia? Think about that one.
Michael Vick.
Vic and Penix.
I can't unthink that.
All right.
Played for the Falcons.
My last fun fact here. This is a little Packer fact. Jordan Love's career numbers, not during Toyotathon. 3,829 yards, 29 touchdowns, and 25 picks. During Toyotathon, 3,283 yards, 26 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. You want Jordan Love on your team during Toyotathon. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh, God. It's that is one, like, who do you think did the research for that?
I have no idea. I don't even know when Toyotathon is. Is that before Christmas? I have no idea.
Probably. But what would prompt someone to even do that research to begin with? Like, some random guy was just like, he seems to do really well during Toyotathon. Like, just knew that somehow?
I don't know. I'm more of a Happy Honda Days guy.
What are the other oes? The Lexus
Event to remember. December to remember.
Can't think of any other ones. Just think of the giant bow on the car.
Right? Yeah, who does that?
It really makes you appreciate the content people out there that are just grinding hard to find just the most disturbingly random facts.
Right.
Just so you can scroll past it and giggle.
But yeah. But anyway, I guess back to the league. It's Kral versus Luke. My money's on Kral because Luke doesn't have a quarterback right now.
I hope so. I mean, Kral's starting 2 Raiders, so
Well,
I
Kral started 2 Raiders last week, and he got 133 points.
yeah, that's a good point. I don't know anything about fantasy football, so
Yeah.
maybe I should.
And he also scored 2 Raiders against me, and he beat me. So
Apparently, the Raiders are good.
what are you gonna do?
And I think I must fall into some kind of thinking trap where I value players based on their actual talent,
Yeah, like the players
and
that
not
are good.
not their fantasy ability. Because I always get frustrated when I get beat by like quarterbacks that have a bunch of garbage time points because I would never draft them, and that maybe
Absolutely.
that's some of the logic I have to sort of turn around and maybe think about when I pick up players.
Like
Still not
in
gonna
what
do it.
world would you want to rely on Bryce Young? But I mean, he's putting
Right.
up points.
Man, Jacoby Myers has just been great in my flex. Good thing I thought he was going to be good. Like, I don't know. Nothing personal against Jacoby Myers, but I don't know.
Well, it is what it is. In the 3rd and 4th place game, we have. Sorry, I lost it. In the 3rd and 4th place game, we have Andrew and Rathgaber. Andrew had a terrible start to the week with the Pittsburgh defense, and Lamar Jackson, Mark Andrews, and Najee Harris combined for a total of 53 points for Rathgaber. Looks like Rathgaber might be getting 3rd place here, unless Jobie can have a big comeback.
Yeah, I think that's all but certain.
And then, of course, like we talked about last week, Jobie and Kral had the opposite players on teams. So it looks like Kral's going to could win the League of Ordinary Gentlemen. But if you reverse roles there, you see all of Kral's guys Jobie has in the other league, in the Guillotine League, and it looks like Jobie is just going to steamroll his way to a Guillotine League championship, despite all odds.
All the things we said,
Every-
all the logic we tried to instill, it just
Yeah.
goes to show you. Jason might as well have won it.
Right? I mean, I don't know what else to say other than why do we care? Like, why do we try? Why do we all play fantasy football every year to just end up caring as much as you and I do and end up analyzing and struggling over all this stuff and just end up losing every year?
We just end up spectators at the end anyways.
Yeah, like we do this podcast and neither of us have ever been in a championship position since we've been doing this podcast. like you hadn't gotten a playoff win in 10 years. I haven't. My championship, as of whoever wins this championship, my last championship will be exactly 10 years ago after this game is played this weekend. 10 years.
It's amazing. That's why I temper my expectations, and now I just aim to place as high as you can without getting money, which I successfully did in Guillotine, by the way. So congrats to me. Another year where I made it. Dang. Pretty excited about that. The streak is alive, boys. The streak is alive.
Streak is alive. So, I mean, there you have it. There are high points and high playoff points. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. I didn't calculate any of that shit. I'm sure Kral knows the numbers. If you want to know,
He does.
talk to Kral. I guarantee you Kral has the exact numbers out there. My guess is, judging by the way Deprez had been scoring all season, because Deprez was ahead, and Deprez had the most points, aside from Jobie, in week 1 of the playoffs, and he had he had a couple points less than Kral last week. So Kral could pass up Deprez for most playoff points, but I'm pretty sure Deprez's just locked in for total points for the season.
Okay.
I've done no math, but I'm just
Well,
doing process of elimination.
All Guillotine League jokes aside about the randomness and not caring and stuff like that, I do have to say I can at least appreciate that Deprez and Kral both know football very well, and they do care and they do their research. So whoever does win it, I won't feel quite as, I guess, egregious about it per se. They're studs. They did the work. They had good players. They know what they're doing. So hats off to them.
And to get this championship, I do believe Kral had to sell his soul for this one. There's a word out there. Schefter was reporting last week that if Bad Mother Tucker wins this championship, that he will be forced to retire Justin Tucker from his team.
Oh,
This is what I've heard. I heard this from Schefter. I could be
Kent's
wrong.
breaking news drop. I didn't know we were.
More lies, baby.
Holy shit, it's Ed.
It wasn't Ed. That was an accident.
Might as well be.
But
that's incredible. So he can't roster Justin Tucker if he wins the chip, huh?
That's what I've been told. He sold his soul to the devil. He sold Justin Tucker for a championship. This is what I've been told. He's going to have to explain it to us next week, but I don't believe in good faith he can roster Justin Tucker after this year.
I'll hold him to it, and I'll spend all my money on Boswell, knowing that I can run him up.
I think Boswell's his new guy.
It's got to be, right?
Guess, right?
Aubrey would be too easy.
But anyway. So, Rob, we got to talk about something that's very serious and very near and dear to my heart.
Shit, you have the floor, man.
Yeah. So there was some big news that happened this week in the world of the League of Ordinary Gentlemen and the Gentleman Fantasy Podcast. Okay. Did you know we broke a threshold on Spotify?
Oh no.
Like we're hitting the big time here, Rob.
Are you about to read an advertisement?
We have an advertisement to read.
Oh my God.
I'm dead serious. Okay. So this is guys, we hit a threshold. We now have had over 1,200 listens on Spotify of our podcast.
Me listening to it over and over again finally paid off.
So therefore, we've got an ad for you. And this is a huge ad. All right? Are you guys ready for this? Let me hit the button here. Okay, hold on. This is a pre-recorded ad. Just hit the button and just hear it, okay? Time Life Music, in collaboration with NFL Films, presents Jordan Love Songs. Hi, I'm Todd Baio, younger brother of Scott Baio, the actor known as Chachi from the great American television series Happy Days. I'm here with a slightly known musician and semi-part-time podcaster Robert Rushlow to tell you all about this amazing box set of solid gold hits dedicated to the Green Bay Packers' future Hall of Fame quarterback Jordan Love. Rob, Lifetime surely has scored a touchdown with this incredible collection of songs. What was your first reaction to hearing about this unprecedented collaboration?
I'm going to be honest. Tears came to my eyes.
Rob, I bet listeners at home are dying to know more about this 7-disc set. We've got a song for every stage of the love story. Now, Rob, not every football season starts as planned. Sometimes you draft Anthony Richardson, but with a little luck and skill, a generational talent can fall right into your lap. And you realize...
All you need is love.
That's right. And after a quick trade offer, you can quickly realize...
All you need is love. Love is all you need.
You can quickly realize... But what an amazing set of love songs to kick off this collection. I bet it really brings you back to the early days of the fantasy season, Rob. A time filled with so much optimism, before all the agony of repeated defeat set in.
Yeah, it's like falling in love all over again.
It is. And back when love is in its infancy, we really look back, kind of like in week 5, when a time when Jordan Love was coming back, and you start to think about songs from artists, such as Bad Company. And love songs by bands like Queen. You know, and at that point, Rob, the love was really just starting to get heated up. And
I would say it was getting thick.
after a 32-point performance in Week 6, you'd have to agree that we saw
Don't need money, don't take fame, don't need no credit card to ride this train. It's strong and it's sudden and it's cruel sometimes, but it might just save your life. That's the power of love.
And you know, people were jumping aboard. And speaking for myself, Rob, I could truly say I was addicted to love.
You're gonna have to face it, you're addicted to love.
But Rob, as you know, and I know, you've learned many times throughout your many fourth-place finishes that love can be a challenge. Love gets rocky at times. You know, things don't always go as planned, right?
Absolutely. Can be a tough road.
It could be. And when that happens, you think,
Come on,
and you end up listening to the Jack Johnson of Wisconsin about his skinny love.
little soul we will never eat.
And you realize
So lost without you, I know you were right. Believing for so long, I'm all out of love. What am I without you? I can't be too late to say that I was so.
You know, Rob, love's a tough thing. And you'd have to agree with me, you know, with a 46% divorce rate in America, I think you know where this is going, right? You know,
I think I know the song.
yeah, a new hot running back enters the picture. And, you know, you just don't want to talk about love anymore. And you go through those stages of grief, Rob.
There it is.
Once I ran to you.
You get that tainted love, my friend.
From you, this tainted love you've given, I give you all a boy could give you. Take my tears, and that's not nearly all. Tainted love,
But Rob,
tainted love. Don't touch.
let's not end this commercial on a downer. That's just a few love songs in this collection, including hits such as It's Only Love, Justify My Love, Cradle of Love, Sunshine of Your Love, Love Shack, and the Hathaway classic, What Is Love, just to name a few.
What a collection. Incredible.
Now, Rob, what would you pay for an amazing box set that has all of these songs? I mean, what kind of money do you think we would charge for something like that?
I mean, I've been scrolling on my phone trying to figure out what I can get for a second mortgage right now, just to make sure I can cover it.
That's not a bad idea. And I will tell you, this one-time only deal can be had. You can have this box set of songs with one condition. This amazing box set can only be found for sale at Sugar Rush Low Boutique, conveniently located at 129 East College Avenue, Appleton, between the times of 10 and 10:04 a.m. on the third Tuesday of each month. If you come into the store and specifically talk to Nicole Rushlow, she will make sure 1% of all proceeds go to my Malort Monday Fund. Don't delay. Act today. Now,
Better make sure she knows.
we'll take you out with one classic love song mashup here, just to remember all the beautiful love songs that are in this mix. We're really gonna miss our time with Jordan Love, but there's always next year, and well, until next time.
My love. goodbye. Goodbye, my love, goodbye. Goodbye, my love, goodbye.
This ad was brought to you by the Pope Family Conglomerate, trying to rig fantasy football leagues since 2024. Well, there you have it. That was our ad read. That Todd Baio is something else, Rob. How did you get hooked up with him?
They said that you're too expensive, and since I'm cheaper, they wanted me in the commercial. And yeah, it's basically it. I'll agree to anything.
I can't believe they cut me out of that one. But so that is the Love Song collaboration between, NFL Films and Time Life Music. I was really surprised. I haven't seen a Time Life Music commercial since I had cable back in the 90s, but apparently they're still out there.
Yeah, you just got to listen to the right obscure podcast, and you'll have your opportunity to get your hands on those beautiful sets.
My understanding is the next NFL collaboration is going to be Penix songs or songs about Penix.
Very nice.
But they're waiting to drop that one till next year because they want to see how things go down this year.
Absolutely. How many of those songs did you have as your team names in the fantasy?
Every single one of them. Just for fun, in the show notes, in the link, I will put a Spotify playlist of all of my team names from this season, and they're all Jordan Love song themes.
Okay, so I'm not crazy. I was like, God, I think his team name matched every one of those at one point.
But that was the bit for the season. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but I was planning that one for a while and just hoping that we would meet the Spotify numbers that we could do some ad reads.
Very nice. That was well placed.
So yeah, there you have it.
I don't even know how to follow that. I can't even. I'm like, for and everyone else, like, he didn't tell me anything about any of this. I had to just react on the spot like everyone else here. So that was. I'm dumbstruck right now. I don't even know what to say.
Well, you're welcome. Yeah. So, Rob, what else do we got? I hear you got some family circle.
God, I forgot. Oh no, I remember now. So Nicole made cards that go in the little bag of every time she makes a sale. Right? You put the clothes in the bag. You put a card in the bag.
Yep.
This one you would love, Kyle. It is a photo of me welding permanent jewelry because it's a permanent jewelry basically coupon.
Okay.
And I am rocking this glorious Battlehawks sweatshirt in the photo. So word's getting out there about the Battlehawks, even if it's subliminally. And I think it's us just getting one step closer to having XFL merch in the store. We're already incorporating it slowly into the customer's viewpoint. Like, so you're
gonna be putting Battlehawks charms on your bracelets from now on.
It's baby steps, man. I'm telling you, we're gonna have this. We're gonna have this work.
I'm ready for this. I can't wait. So we're gonna do for sure one more episode next week. It might drop on Wednesday or Thursday. I'm not sure what our plans are. We're hoping to have Crawl next week as our guest, and we're probably going to take a siesta, and maybe we'll come back for XFL, USFL, the UFL season.
Oh yeah, there'll be some fun stuff there.
If the Bucks are having a reason to get us back into playoff mode, maybe we'll do some Bucks stuff in the summer.
I love that.
We got this podcast thing down to a fine science now. I think we're. Aside from the technical difficulties we had tonight, there was a driver issue on one of my computers.
Technical difficulties are every night because half your shit was made in like 2003.
I literally have like 3 new pieces of gear right now.
Right, but it's wired through pieces of old gear, and that's where you run into problems.
I got a little family circle for us too. Now that I just remembered. So one thing when I was growing up about Christmas was TBS, TNT, whatever it was, always did the 24 hours of A Christmas Story. All right.
I capitalized on that.
All right. How so?
I was at the in-laws and we watched Christmas Story, I think 3 times straight.
Yeah.
Throughout the day. Not like sat and actually watched it, but
You
meandered
never
about doing
right.
things
And that's why I love that movie, because it's a movie that like you can always kind of watch in the background. So like when I was growing up, we just kind of had a TV that was just on that channel, and people would be like walking through the house, wrapping presents, doing whatever, getting like all the stuff prepped for Christmas on Christmas Day, and you would just like by osmosis watch like 2/3 of the movie. But a couple years back at Ryan's gift exchange that he always does, I ended up acquiring a DVD of A Christmas Story. Nobody has a DVD player anymore, right? Except we happened to buy a vehicle that had a DVD player in it, and the kids wanted to be able to watch TV. So we gathered up whatever random DVDs we had, and it just so happened this unopened, box of A Christmas Story ended up in the car. And the kids
Well,
started...
I have a treat for you, Kyle. I have a binder that's about to get dropped off at your house.
Yeah. So, can they watch any of those movies is my question.
No, I have a whole separate binder of kids DVDs.
Oh,
you can
shit.
have them. They're all yours.
Beautiful. I'll take them. But one of the movies that ended up in like regular rotation is A Christmas Story. Okay. So we go to see Santa, and mainly so the twins can see Santa, but Evan goes up by Santa, sits on his lap, freezes up, tells Santa he wants a football for Christmas. And I'm standing back and I'm like, oh, dude. And there was another guy who was kind of like standing back next to me, and he's like, oh man, A Christmas Story. He said football. And I was like, I was thinking the same thing. And we kind of had a chuckle to ourselves a little bit. And then he came back and I was like, dude, Evan, you told him you wanted a football. You have like 7 of them. And he's like, yeah, I know. I didn't know what else to say. I'm like, okay. Been watching this movie too much. To compound it, make it even worse, we had a cold spell like a week ago. And I go to pick Evan up from school, and his teacher comes over by the car, and she's like, hey, so we kind of had a thing on the playground today. Evan and some of his friends thought it would be a good idea to try sticking their tongues to the pole. And,
oh my God.
And 3 of them got stuck. And I was like, are you kidding me? She's like, yeah.
3?
Evan's got a little bit of skin ripped off his tongue because he just pulled it right off. And I was like, oh man. I was like, this dude's seen A Christmas Story like 20 times. He knows it doesn't end well. Apparently he had to see for himself. So there's a bunch of first grade boys running around with half a tongue right now.
It's fantastic. I'm glad that movie is still impacting lives today.
Right?
Oh, it's what the beauty of that is, and I think the reason that they do that whole 24-hour marathon is, unlike a lot of movies where you really have to like see it through start to finish to really absorb the story. A Christmas Story is more of this like it could almost be in a Netflix series if you really think about it, because it does have like individual like episodes within the overarching thing of getting this fucking BB gun, right?
It's the greatness.
There's like all these perfect little scenes inside of it that you could pick up at any point and be like,
absolutely,
that's great. I'm gonna go check.
But
on
that's
the turkey,
like
and you're fine with it.
The same greatness of a movie like Forrest Gump. Like you can come into Forrest Gump at any time, and if you've seen it, you'd be like, oh man, he's in Vietnam, or oh yep, he's playing ping pong now, or whatever it is. Oh, he's going for his run. He's cutting lawn now.
And none of it really needs to be tied to the other, because you already know.
Like
if you've seen it all together once, you're good to go. You don't need all the context or, for it to be story built.
Or like Shawshank Redemption. You can pick that one up, and if you've seen it, you can pick it up anytime and be like, oh, man, Andy's about to do some hard time here. Red's getting out. That kind of stuff.
He's going to start teaching people math.
Yes, and almost getting thrown off a roof. Stuff like that.
The usual.
But yeah, so that's pretty much it. Rob, you got anything else for us tonight?
I mean, we're not going to do bets because we're already sort of into the week, given the weird schedule. And we both lost our bets last week.
Yeah. So Rob and I, we kind of went on tilt, and we both ended up placing bets at Oneida, variations of the bets that we did on the podcast. We loved the lines last week, and we absolutely got fucking murdered.
Yeah. It was not great.
Don't place bets, guys.
I mean, I have a bunch of tickets. I can't say how disappointed I am in the Seattle Seahawks. Like, I knew they weren't good enough to beat Green Bay, but I did not know they weren't good enough to not be involved in the lowest scoring NFL game in like years.
Yeah.
6-3 was a rough one. And wouldn't you know it, Kyle? I had the Seahawks at -3.5. So
Really?
imagine watching that game and be like, this is unbelievable. 6-3. Like, they were so bad. So bad. It's the Bears. You can't get more than a 3-point lead on the completely inept Bears. The Seahawks were like nearly favored against the Packers. I don't think they were ultimately in that game, but they were. It was a close line.
Yeah. And Caleb Williams got sacked like 10 times.
I'm just saying, they took a major step backwards. I thought the Seahawks were much better, and they were coming into where we're at in the season. Just fucking terrible, dude. Very disappointed.
So my reason for not making a bet tonight, number one, we ran into issues and I didn't have time. Number two, I looked at the lines the other day, and with as many teams, you know, this season is basically mirroring the fantasy season where like pretty much everyone's in. They could jockey for position, but there aren't really any teams that are trying to get into the playoffs, and whoever's playing each other, like I have no idea how to get a feel for these games here because half of these teams are not playing for anything. I did take that into account.
I did make some actual bets, but I did take out the teams that fit into that category. But it is tough.
Yeah, but there was a lot of them though.
Right. You're right. But I can't not make bets. Come on. I am what I am.
Yeah, I'll give you that.
And that's a losing gambler.
It's a losing proposition, huh?
Yes.
But yeah. So I mean, there you have it. You went to Oneida already?
Oh yeah. So correct me if I'm wrong. My lead is pretty good right now. I might have this thing locked up as long as I can survive Are we going to continue our betting through the playoffs? You said we only have one episode left, and then we might.
Well, I mean, we could continue to do
now.
We could continue to do episodes during the playoffs if we had something to talk about. I mean, if you just want to talk about NFL playoffs, we could.
I mean, between the two of us, we can just keep track of our bets and then talk about it at the end.
But I mean, the only problem with just talking about the NFL playoffs is I almost feel like that podcast has to happen on like Sunday night, because by the time it gets to Wednesday, mentally, I forget all of the little intricate things, like the stuff that you like think about all day long on Sunday. For some reason, by Wednesday, like it's all left your brain. Do you ever have that?
I try to drink everything out of my brain at the end of every night.
So, I don't know. We'll see. You know, maybe we will, maybe we won't. We'll find out. I don't like to commit to anything past the end of the season because it seems like every year we just fall apart at the end of every season. And I didn't want that to happen this year, which is why we're recording this on a Friday night.
Okay, I'm great with it because that all but ensures that I beat you in the betting.
Oh, I don't think there was a chance I come back from that. I mean, you're like $1,000 ahead of me, aren't you?
It can't be that dramatic. Yeah, probably. I won two decent ones.
Yeah, dude, you are $1,000 ahead of me.
Superior gambler.
You're plus 11.
Now I'd like everyone.
You're
to
plus
go
11.
Back to that.
You won 2 bets. You're plus 11.10, and I am minus 266.
You hear that? Plus 11.10, people. Kyle lectured all of you, made you sit through him droning on about how stupid my bets were. While I was gone, by the way. I had no chance to defend myself. And look who's on top. The more you fucking know. Dum, 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 dum.
Hang on a sec. That's part of your trick, right?
No. That's not my trick, Michael. It's my illusion.
And that is true. It's just an illusion because even though the paper says he's 1,100 up, I'm pretty sure you're not.
No, in real life, I'm probably right around even, if we're being honest, because I did win a few, but it's a rough game. Yeah, but it's a lot of fun.
I'll give you that. Robert still owes me like $165, so he may be paying me back in bets.
Sportsbook tickets. These are IOUs. They're as good as cash.
They're as good as cash. Don't lose that one. That's for a Lamborghini. That's a big one. Anyways, you know, I hope you guys all had a wonderful Christmas. We're looking forward to New Year, and go Packers, fuck the Bears. Rob?
Yeah. Play the full song.
We'll play the full song.
All night, sit all day, not exactly something I'm proud of. But I got by somehow, drinking, eating, getting wet, feeling sorry for myself. And now I'm the depths of hell. Thought that I was dumb, thought that I was blind. Thought that I would be, not be anywhere. Thought that I would be, thought that I would be, thought that I'd be anywhere but here. Thought that I would be, thought that I would be, thought that I'd be anywhere but here. When I was young, I had dreams of anything. But who knows what I am now? Used to think that's destiny. Used to believe that I could believe. But no, I'm not there yet. Thought that I was dumb. Thought that I was blind. Thought that I would be, not be anywhere. Thought that I would be, thought that I would be, thought that I'd be anywhere but here. Thought that I would be, thought that I would be, thought that I'd be anywhere but here.
All right, what'd you guys think of that one? That is the actual full. It's not even the Hamburgers. That's an Anonymous Thieves song, I believe. Or is that a Hamburger song?
It's on the Hamburgers Mad Cow Disease album, but
Oh,
I
is it
think
really?
they wrote it before that.
Yeah, that because it was an Anonymous Thieves song. But anyways, that was the Hamburgers. That was what's the fucking name of that? It's the Broom Song. Yeah, it's the Broom Song.
I wanted you to play the full version because we always hit it as an intro and an exit. And if you're like me, sometimes you hear these songs like going into podcasts and you're like, oh man, I wonder what that actually, like how that whole thing actually goes. So it's kind of fun.
So there it is. You just heard it. That was the full Broom Song. And if you made it through the Broom Song, you actually got to hear the reason why we played the full song. If you didn't listen to the full song, you have no idea why we played it. So congratulations to you if you stuck it through.
Good. Appreciate you.